You're listening to the Complex Action Actual Play podcast. The wilds of Columbia can often hold some strange things, especially when you travel outside the wall surrounding the city. The team tracks Thor the Troll to one of these strange places where the barrier between the physical and the astral can get pretty thin. Now, please enjoy Episode 9, Crystal Orchids. Since you guys are taking a cab outside, so there's a feature that we haven't talked about in Columbia that you guys would all be familiar with, being people from Columbia. If not spending your whole lives there, you all of your characters were at least, natives of Columbia and then left and came back. Well, throughout the history of Columbia, without going into a history lesson, during the events surrounding the war, or what could have been a war, Columbia thought there was going to be a war, and there kind of was a small skirmish before the UCAS and the CAS broke up, or the CAS broke off from the UCAS, the UCAS. Well, Columbia had like a sort of skirmish there, and to make a long story short, part of that, pre-secession rile-up kind of scuffle and skirmish that was going on there was veritable battles that were going on actually in Columbia. A lot of the local militia, you could call it, but got together and created their own forces. They built this wall all around Columbia to kind of try to divide itself, separate it from the rest, and kind of defend itself as a city from Fort Jackson, which is nearby. So back then, this wall was thrown together by blue-collar workers, metal workers, stone workers, all these kind of people just banded together to do it because very, secessionist pride and stuff like that at the time. And they built it all around the three interstates that surround the Columbia area, and it creates this big wall that was built up right all along the interstate. There are parts of it that were actually built up into actual walls later. Still, some of it is run down and kind of makeshift, metal work and everything stacked together and, riveted or welded or whatever. But anyway, there's just this big giant structure that surrounds it, and it's like a relic of the past decades, and they just call it the Wall. And it's not guarded or anything, but there are, on some of the smaller roads, it's not an actual border or anything. It's just an old thing. But on some of the smaller roads, sometimes local gangs will, do their best to try to, create their own quote unquote toll, to go through it and everything. So that's why the cabbie makes the comment that, as long as there's no trouble getting past the wall, because while there isn't typically, it does happen occasionally. But you guys, because you have to go through it, it's something you have to think about. Is there anything that you guys, before you go, are needing to know that is being brought with you or not being brought with you or anything like that?
I just need to know how long it's been since the meet, hours-wise.
It's maybe been an hour.
Perfect.
When you get into the cab to head out to where the van was last seen.
All right.
I'll be driving.
Are we intending to go hot in this situation, or are we just looking?
We'll figure that out later.
I'll figure it out now. So
pack accordingly. If you need me to haul anything, I can do it.
All right, and he'll shoot you an address to a just crappy storage locker to meet up to grab something.
Yep. All right. So I've handed Pillar a small potion vial. I'm also handing Leroy one. I tell him to let me know when you're about to drink it. I'll activate the magic. If we think we're going to go into a fight within the next minute or so, it's a good idea to activate it. And then I'll also hand Pillar a little pop-open style pocket watch container So I'll touch the element inside here when you're ready to go into a fight.
Alright, look forward to it.
So the potions are armor spells. There's also another potion that I'll keep on myself for now. It's a heal spell, and the little thing that's inside of a case is an increased agility spell.
And you the rest, bro.
Well, just we'll find out if they're good enough. And I'm gonna
Alright.
pop a dose of psyche right there.
All right. Well, who is going to be in the cab and who is going to be with Payday?
I'm in a cab.
I'm gonna roll a Payday because he's gonna help me pick up my gear.
So the siblings are in the cab, and Payday and Leroy are in their own vehicle.
Phoenix.
Right, you guys are picking some stuff up.
Okay, so we have an address for where this van is?
Yeah, you've got like a GPS location. It's just off the side of a road somewhere was the last place it was seen. Not the last place it was seen, but it's where it is right now, according to the GPS transponder.
Alright, we can do this. Just remember, we gotta take this guy alive.
Anybody know anything about Thor?
God of Thunder.
Right.
Uh,
And you
His
guys,
hammer is named Mjolnir. Supposedly only he can pick it up. I don't know if that's just from the comic books or actual mythology, though.
right. Where are your little girlfriends?
Knowledge of Arcana. Do I know anything interesting about... I mean, do I know enough where I could say just look up the Norse tradition in the book?
How many hits you get on a test?
2.
From what you recall, there's a lot of focus on nature, but all you can really remember is that there's some of them have a focus on sort of like rough, violent tradition, depending on who the adepts, so to speak, tend to be more rough, violent type. But there's definitely a warrior culture and also a focus on nature sometimes in the magical tradition.
Yeah, he's likely to want to get back to some kind of wilderness area, I imagine. The Norse tradition people tend to worship nature or something. I don't know a lot about it. But also they're pretty violent, especially adepts. And this one's a mystic adept, so he's violent and has spells and spirits.
And insane. He thinks he's Thor. He thinks he's actually Thor.
Yeah, so he's going to be completely fearless. That might be able to play into our favor if we know how to talk to him well. If we speak to him as if we're supplicants and worshippers of Thor, and we think he's awesome, and play into his ego and his insanity, that might be a way to avoid getting Mjolnirized.
Good way to put it.
Or should it be Mjolnirated? I can't decide.
Anybody who has an area knowledge of Columbia, go ahead and give me a roll. And if you also have any kind of magic knowledge skills at the same time, let me know.
Well, crap. I got 5 hits out of 7 dice on my area knowledge, and I have lots of magical skills. Etherology, which has to do with, the metaplanes and ley lines and that sort of thing.
Wow, okay.
Archaeology, which has to do with, like, artifacts.
Yeah, say no more. All right. This is
Okay, sir.
This is going to be right up Elric's alley then. So before I get into that, is there anything I need to know special Leroy is picking up?
He would just be doing a quick case of the area, some perception tests, that kind of thing.
All right, well, you guys are going to, because you are heading to storage stuff to get some gear first. You guys are...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all I meant. If there's nothing like out of the ordinary that I need to know about, then that's fine.
He's going to bring his bolo launcher on the underslung Ares Alpha.
Okay.
And basically throw most of his gear in the trunk.
All right, cool. And you guys will get there, 5 or 10 minutes after they do. So,
Are you sure?
Well, if you want to roll a vehicle skill to try to get there first, go for it.
Absolutely. I'm not getting behind a cab.
Granted, the cabbie has been offered double pay to get us there faster.
That's 6 hits.
Wowie zowie. All right. So with the intent of trying to get there as quick as you can, I'm assuming?
Pretty much. I want to make sure that we're able to make this pickup of these goods and still be on track with these guys, essentially.
And you guys have edges of 1, right? Let me roll this real fast. Okay.
My edge is a 3.
But your sister has an edge of 1.
Yep.
All right. You guys are able to get through the wall just fine. You're going on a state highway to get through there, so it's a pretty well traveled road. And you get through there. The cabbie is doing his best to get there and going through traffic, being safe, but trying to get there quick. But on one of these outside roads off the highway that are less traveled that he's taking, you guys see. Describe Payday's car.
It is a matte black GMC Phoenix with chrome windows.
Well, you see a car that looks like that you definitely recognize, and comes up right behind the cab, and then almost as it's about to bump into the back of it,
I wave.
Yeah, he swerves into the other lane, which this is one lane in each direction. He swerves over into the other lane and passes the cab and goes off, speeds past you guys.
And I'm jumping right now too. So
that guy's car is so cool. How much do cars cost anyway? I should get a car.
We'll get on that.
The cabbie is he's like, as he sees him coming up in the mirror, he does that whole thing. He's like, "Look, pal, I'm going the speed limit. I'm going over the speed limit. What do you want from me?" And he gets when Payday passes him, he's like, "God, people."
Yeah, dude's a real dick.
You know that guy?
No, I'm just saying.
Isn't that an awesome car?
Yeah.
Passed you like that. Inconsiderate.
I want to get a car just like that. Except maybe blue.
Well, Payday and Leroy are going to get there a couple of minutes ahead. So what do you guys want to do when you get to the location? The van is there.
Good. When we pull up, Eon turns to Leroy. "We want you to know something." And then Payday turns. "They're going to want to talk to this guy. And that's not going to work out very well. We know it won't. We are here to back you up."
He's going to give you a bro nod of approval and kind of pull up a couple of bolas out of his little bag. Hopefully we trip him up.
"We have weaponry armed with stick and shock ammo. If we need to go with more hot ammunition, well, that's going to be a pay cut, and I don't like pay cuts."
Crazy trolls.
"You got it."
He's just kind of shaking his head like, "I can't believe this is what we're getting paid."
All right, so what do you guys want to do? You got the van there. It's been pulled off haphazardly off the side of the road. The back doors are open, and the driver's side door is also open.
Well, I was about to say, is there any building around here, or is it just a van left in the middle of nowhere?
There's just trees.
I will launch the customary 2 fly spies and see if I can map the area.
All right, give me. Are you jumped into the fly spies, or are you going to use their sensors?
I'm going to use sensors to get an idea.
All right, well, go ahead and roll perception for that sensor test.
3 hits.
The vegetation is pretty dense in this area. If you go up high enough and look around, it's a pretty large area, and there's not a lot going on. How far are you trying to look?
I was thinking that I would try to quickly map about a mile.
Okay, yeah. Well, so there are a couple of roads that enclose a very kind of closed off area. There's kind of a large lake straight to your west. Not a large lake, but like a lake straight to your west. In terms of lakes, it's actually small, but somewhere between a pond and a lake. A small lake. But anyway, there's some houses and a school to the northwest. They're old and abandoned and everything. And there's a pond in the area near the school. But you don't see anything. It's just from the quick checking out the area, just those features. An abandoned neighborhood out to the northwest, also past the school.
All right, Eon will facilitate the transmission of those feeds to the group as well.
I had my comlink beat. Oh, cool. Let me put my goggles on.
I'm going to take the opportunity after I get a rough idea of the surrounding area to jump into one of the fly spies and see if I can go low and give a better look at the area and see if I can pick anything up.
Where would you like to focus?
I'm going to kind of go with more immediate area, so maybe about start in the 100-meter area. You said that it's kind of thick here anyway, right?
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to see much from the sky because over the wooded area, you can't really see down.
Yeah, that's why I figured I'd shoot right into the forest.
Oh, okay, I missed that part. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in and directly assume control of the fly spy.
All right, go ahead and give me so that would be a pilot aircraft, correct?
Yes, it would. And I'm going to keep the other fly spy around the area of that abandoned building. That would be 4 hits.
All right, so now give me a perception test, and this is going to be extended. Are you going to keep going after they get there, or do you want me to stop you when the rest of your team gets there?
I'm going to keep going. So
okay,
that's 4 hits again.
All right, 4 hits on the perception, right? That's what you rolled?
Yeah, using electronic warfare through the drone sensors.
All right, cool. All right, so every test is going to be 1 minute, and I'll let you know when you find anything out. Just so just as a reminder, you do a -1 for each one of these. Also, I won't retroactively do it because I forgot to tell you, but it's raining at this point, so I'm going to get you to. It's not super heavy right now, but it's a factor, so I'm going to get you to do an extra -1.
Okay.
Also, the being in the trees kind of helps with that as well, which is why it's only -1.
Excellent.
But all right, go ahead and roll it again.
Oh, even better that time, and with less dice. 5 hits.
All right, give me another one.
Only 2 that time.
And another.
3.
And another. I can't tell if this is going to make for exciting or suspenseful listening for our listeners, or if it's just going
through that.
You can always montage out the.
I'll just cut in some crescendoing music, like
1 hit.
2 hits.
All right. You should be good after. You're going to be looking for about 5 or 6 minutes, and you'll be doing that when everybody gets there. But after 5 or 6 minutes, you will find an unconscious woman in scrubs in the middle of the woods. But I'll let you know when that happens.
Gotcha.
Was there anything that I got off of my area knowledge check plus magic knowledge?
Yes, thank you for reminding me because I had forgotten. You happen to realize as you're getting closer, it kind of hits you're like, wait a minute, you know the area you're headed to, so you think to check the coordinates again, and you look it up on a map and whatnot, and you realize, wait a minute, the area that you guys are heading to is very close to a place that is known as the Youpaha Shallow, or I'm sorry, the Youpaha Swallow, which is a known mana ebb in the area. It's also a combined mana ebb and mana shallows in the area.
Oh, okay. This is right up my alley then. I probably studied it before.
Yeah,
maybe not personally, but maybe.
Right. It's you know the area is you said you got 5 hits, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you know the area is it's really interesting. It's an old small kind of pond in the area, but right in the middle of the pond was this big sinkhole that was created. It's an old it's a pond, but it's like a reservoir. But anyway, there was a sinkhole that was created, and it's supposed to be related to this mana ebb. It's not super strong ebb, but it's decent. But the interesting thing about this is the whole area around this pond reservoir thing is surrounded by these really unique these really unique flowers that are an awakened plant called crystal orchids. And they absorb mana, so it's really interesting that the ebb is concentrated in this area right there, and it keeps it kind of contained to that one area. So you can be kind of like out of the ebb. It's only like, to speak mechanically, you know, it'd be like a low, like -1 or -2 background count right outside of the or back in the forest. But once you go out past this vegetation, these orchids, onto the shores of the ebb and into the or onto the pond itself, it'd be more substantial. And it's kind of like there's no gradation there. There's no gradient. It's just very abrupt because of these flowers.
Okay, and do I know anything else about this place as far as who owns it? Is it guarded?
The area...
Is it a park? Is it just wilderness?
Before this magical event occurred, it was just in the backyard of like a neighborhood next to a school. But once this happened, people started to, you know, people were moved out for a while it was investigated. Nobody could figure out what was going on, and people were allowed to move back in. But eventually, people just started to move away from the immediate area because of, you know, fear, I guess, and not knowing what it is. So the neighborhood that's near it and the school that's near it no longer, they're just kind of abandoned.
Hey, Payday, you think you could have one of your drones look here? And I tap a spot on my AR display to have a coordinates pop up to where that pond is. It's kind of a unique magical feature. We're following a crazy magical guy. There's, I don't know, pretty good shot he's going to go towards an interesting magical feature, right?
I already have a drone hovering over the abandoned building near the pond.
Now, the woman you found is in the forest, in the middle of the forest, kind of between the van and this location that Elric just gave you.
I would have moved out when
I gave
when I had her location, because it would be nice to save her too.
Indeed. So as soon as I spot her, eyes on the nurse.
Yep.
All right, so you guys are headed out into that area. Are you investigating the pond area?
Do a quick look over of the truck first to see if there's anything, you know, untoward.
No, it looks like
it too, to see if I can make out the same signature. If you cast any spells around.
Yeah, roll in a sensing test.
That would be 2 hits.
Yeah, you recognize the astral signature. You can't detect any spells that were cast, but the astral signature is familiar. In fact,
Right.
It seems quite an obvious signature, and you can almost detect a trail of it that goes into the woods.
Nice.
Like it seems more obvious than you would expect.
Wow, this guy's like an astral beacon or something.
Wink, wink.
I'm going to can I wave at my spirit of fire and say, hey, thanks a lot for watching over us. I really appreciate it. You can head out now. I'll dismiss him, and I'm going to conjure up a spirit of beasts. This requires a bit of concentration. I'm not specialized with this sort of thing. Force 6, though. I'll need a powerful one. Elric concentrates. He claps his 2 hands together in front of his face and kind of holds them in front of himself as if praying, and closes his eyes in concentration.
All right.
That's a pretty good roll. 5 hits.
You said it was 4-6, right?
Yes.
All right, you got 3 net hits, so that's 4 drain you're rolling.
All right, I'm good on drain. I'm going to ask it. I'm picking the powers of concealment and confusion. Then I'm going to ask it to manifest.
All right, what do you want? What's it look like?
I'm picturing sort of a large fox, but almost the size of a small horse, with kind of a rather unusual kind of spiky, frilly mane that it has. I'm going to hop on the back of it and hold onto its mane and ride around on it.
Nice.
It's got a body and strength each of 8, so it should be able to handle a body and strength of 2 rider, I'd imagine.
Yeah, that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Once we find the girl, I'm going to be jumping into the other flies by.
All right. Well, you find the girl. She's unconscious in the woods on the ground. Where's Pillar, by the way, in all of this?
I'm staying with them.
All right.
Got my taser out, just hanging out.
Are you walking alongside your brother, who's now riding a fox beast?
Yeah, I mean, this is normal. Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys will eventually. You're not far behind at this point. Your other two compatriots, and you guys all meet up. This girl is or woman, I should say, is unconscious on the ground in the woods.
Oh, is she alive?
I don't have any medical knowledge. Can't you tell that with your eyes?
I'll shift to astral perception and check her out.
She I won't make you roll for it. She's alive.
Oh, thank goodness, she's alive. Drek, why did I not buy a med kit? I was gonna buy a med kit.
Daniel pull one out of her pocket. You're probably better at this than I am.
I'm gonna take out my comm link and type in a reminder for myself to buy a med kit.
Set an alarm.
Yo,
Yeah.
buy a med kit. I got 5 hits on a scent-based perception test to see if I could pick up this guy's trail.
I'm gonna say no.
And I'm gonna take out this med kit and have it do its thing to diagnose her.
All right. It tells you that she's unconscious. She doesn't appear to be suffering from any terrible physical harm, but she is unconscious, and it asks. It recommends some procedures and some medicines to give and all this kind of stuff. Would you like to follow the procedures?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and do first aid. What rating med kit is this?
It's a 3.
Alright, so 6 dice, or wait, logic of 6. The default is a 5 plus 3 dice, 8, I think. That's a little better. I got 3 hits.
All right. Well, she wakes up and she's got a serious headache, and she says, "Oh, where am I?" And she suddenly starts, and she tries to gather herself, and she says, "Who are you? Where am I?"
Hey there, relax. We're here to help.
She looks around. She says, "Where's the
Danny, this person needs to be talked to."
Yeah, sorry. Hey there. No, it's
Elric sort of backs off, holding out his hands as if expecting an attack.
Rebecca, right?
Yes. There's a troll in here. Where's have you seen? Do you know where am I?
We're looking for him. We're here. We're gonna help you. Doc Brown sent us.
Okay. We need to get out of here now. I'm sure he'll be back, and he'll kill us.
Okay. That's all right. We'll take care of that. Payday, can we put it in your car? Somewhere safe?
Payday just starts to say no when Eon says that won't be a problem.
All right. Eon, can you ping her the direction? You head back to the car and stay right there. We're gonna find the troll.
She just says, I don't have my comlink on me or anything. I don't know how to get back.
Leroy will
Daniel.
give her a metalink and his pistol.
She does that whole kind of holding the gun and doesn't really know what she's doing with it or anything, but she looks at the comlink and she looks at the map and she says she goes. She runs.
That works.
Yeah. If we hear the gun go off, we know what direction to go.
She seemed nice.
I'm sure she'll be stellar. And we have troll to find, right? Your beast
yeah.
or something out?
Crazy Viking trolls.
Sadly, no. I've never actually seen him before, so I can't order him to use his search power.
All right.
He could, however, it could be a she. I don't know. Conceal us though to make us more difficult to spot. The problem is if one of us is noticed, it breaks it for everyone. But it might be useful to have on us.
Yeah, you should do that.
What do you think, Leroy?
Couldn't hurt.
All right. I'll sort of reach up to the fox lion's face and would you mind making us more difficult to spot, yourself included? And we're all sort of blending in more with the surroundings and not exactly a predator effect, but a certain overlay of different camouflage gradually passes across your skin as you look at it. And Elric will hop back up onto the back of his fox lion.
All right, do you want to roll that?
There's nothing to roll. It's just anybody who is trying to notice us gets -6 dice to their perception.
Ah, that's right. It's not it's just an automatic kind of thing. Okay.
I'm also going to declare spell defense on the team. And I'll let you guys. Oh, hey, also, I can protect you from harmful magic, but only if you're within my line of sight, so please be aware of that. I'll be doing my best to shield you from any attack spells. Thor seems to be fond of them.
Thanks, kid. And he's gonna suit up.
All right. So, what's your guys' plan of attack here? Are you headed toward? Where are you headed?
Well, I think we should either head to the pond or see if any of you are good on picking up tracks. Any of you a tracker person?
Let's see how good I am, because I actually have some dice in tracking.
But I can't imagine Thor is the kind of person who, brushes the ground behind him to make himself harder to follow.
Got 3 hits on a tracking.
Yeah, you're actually Leroy's looking around and he notices a very big, the Rebecca was dropped on the ground, and you notice where almost behind where she was being dragged there, and it's like he just discarded her, and you can see a track, very heavy footprints leading off in a sort of the northwest direction from where you guys are.
Should I be scouting this abandoned house?
Yeah, I think head that way.
I'm going to zip over there with the fly spy. I'm going to be trying to keep a low profile this time.
Yeah, just make sure you're not spotted till your drone doesn't get Mjolnirified. No, that one doesn't work at all.
No, that's not a thing.
So my question for you is, is Payday going to be staying there while everybody follows the tracks, and he jumped into the drone is basically
he's
what I'm
jumped
asking.
into the fly spy. He's in his car in the regular cocoon.
All right. So he's back at the road while everybody else is in the woods.
Essentially, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, you can easily get over to the houses, and do you want to do a perception or something to see if you can find anything?
Yeah, I'm going to roll stealth first so that, because I'm going to be zipping into the house if possible. You said it's an abandoned place, right?
Mm-hmm. It's several houses. It's a small neighborhood.
Oh, okay. 3 hits on stealth.
Okay.
And then, yeah, I'll be doing some perception to see if I can spot anybody or any movement or, hell, even get eyes on the troll. That'd be nice. -1 or 2 from the rain.
-1. Well, we'll just say -1.
Okay. 4 hits.
All right. Well, you'll be looking for a little bit. You guys are following the tracks, and eventually you're going to realize that the tracks come up to a clearing, and through the trees you can see some water.
Is this the pond?
Yes, Elric will notice immediately some interesting flowers out in the clearing.
Oh, it's the flowers. They absorb magical energy, you see.
Everybody give me a perception test. Who's everybody but Payday.
Any particular flavor?
Visual.
That's 2 hits.
Go ahead, have Elric roll, let's say 2 more dice, because he's kind of he knows what he's looking at.
3 hits then.
I got 3.
Not paying attention.
Does that mean 0 hits?
Yes, but no glitches.
All right, well, both Elric and Leroy will notice the flowers in the clearing, of course. But another really interesting thing that you'll notice is a lot of swirling. Both of you will see this. A lot of swirling colors in the air. And you'll catch glimpses of what look like more substantial bodies that Elric will recognize as being probably some sort of magical entities, like maybe spirits or something.
I'm going to shift to my astral perception.
When you shift to astral perception, you see everything much more clearly, but it looks the same. The flowers are just like lighting up like beacons all over the place. They're magical awakened plants. They're sucking in like streams of magical energy that are just swirling around this pond, and they're all swirling like in almost like a whirlpool effect as it's going down towards the center of this small reservoir pond thing.
Oh, it's so
give me
beautiful. I wish you
another.
guys could see this.
Yeah, give me another perception test.
Perception or sensing?
Let's go with the sensing.
I want to do a thing if I have the opportunity.
Sure. Now, Leroy, what you notice, it's definitely this should not be understated. It's very bizarre what you're seeing. It's lots of colors and swirling, what you can only describe as like weird lights and colors all over the place.
Gotcha. He's stuck on the idea that these plants don't like to mess with magic, so he wants to pick a couple and like almost put them in his like lapel or shirt.
Well, he would definitely notice that. So these flowers, of course, Leroy can see that they're lighting up very bright as well, which is very strange. Like they have this weird kind of shimmery nature to them, with this weird looking colorful energy coming off of them. But around the area are these things that are flying around in the air, these large things. And as you got close, and I would want to tell you this before you got too close, you'll see a troll who's also out there kneeling down next to the water, who also has a bunch of magical energy and a bright, like lit up hammer hanging next to him.
Sure. I don't feel the need to do anything yet. I'm not wearing my pretty flowers.
All right, and Elric.
Oh, I got 3 hits.
All right, so yeah, you definitely notice the flowers, which you remember in your schooling. Just as an aside, they're often these, or just with your knowledge of what you know of the area, that these flowers are often collected as magical reagents by certain traditions that might find that useful. But you definitely notice the troll that's out there, and you recognize the astral signature as
Him.
him.
That's the guy.
Yeah. How many trolls did you expect to find out playing in the trees?
I'm just saying, without question, it's him.
And the 3 things that are floating around are definitely spirits, but they are not manifest, which you notice immediately as being odd, since you did not. You are shifted into astral perception now, but you saw them before you did that. But they're not manifest.
There's also some sort of effect happening where the astral is physically visible. At least I think so. Are you guys seeing the colors and things?
Are you high?
Yeah, I took a hit of Psyche a little while back, so I technically yes.
But Elric also does remember. I said before that Elric remembers that this is a mana ebb, but also an astral shallows.
Yes, that's the effect of the astral shallows. That's right. Sorry, I was focusing a bit much on those interesting swirls there.
You delay up the drugs, kid.
Don't pretend you can't see them. I noticed them with my eyes before I switched my astral senses. I mean, they're much more vivid this way, but
I mean, we don't see anything, right?
If you start to look, Pillar will see something. She just didn't notice anything as she was,
Is it like a magic eye?
approaching. It's not really. It's more like just magical floaty energies that are floating around in the. It's almost indescribable, but you can tell that there's magical energy that's of many different colors. Just it's very bizarre and beautiful and frightening and all at the same time. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed it. This show would literally not be possible without the generous support of our patrons over at Patreon. If you like the show and you want to help support it and keep us playing this game, head on over to patreon.com/complexaction. Supporting can get you access to GM notes and even the ability to vote on the direction that the story's going to take. That's patreon.com/complexaction to help out. There were several NPCs and organizations which were provided by patrons of Complex Action, and those submissions were Dr. Emmett Brown and his Brown's Medical Clinic, mentioned in this episode, was submitted by Jeff Rohde. Also, the Youpaha swallow, where the team is going, was submitted by Baheru Mengistu. The character art seen on our YouTube page and various social media places was done by Ethan Brewerton. Check out his awesome Shadowrun artwork at esbrewerton.tumblr.com. The background music in this episode is brought to you by Prism Shard. To hear more of his Shadowrun-inspired music, head on over to soundcloud.com/prism-shard and give him some love. The Topps Company Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company Inc. has granted permission to Complex Action to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its websites, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with Complex Action in any official capacity whatsoever.